let's be honest, he did a soft interview. It wasn't 60 minutes.
No.
But that
60
said,
minutes, yeah.
what he managed to do with a soft interview was amazing. He really got under the skin of people and knew things. I mean, those clips that they used to run of people going, oh, how'd you know that? I mean, that wasn't staged.
No, they were real. And his, it's funny because that whole cycle, which never really ended, put him in a strange position at times when, Jane Fonda or Sally Field would sit down for their third or fourth interview with him. They would just look at him and grin, waiting for him to dazzle them with something they'd never thought of, and so he was always under pressure to perform the party trick at one point or another, and he always was able to do it, which just amazed me. I think it was his 7th interview with Shirley MacLaine, where she was sort of sitting there, and he knew where her birthmarks are, and he knew that she knew he knew. So I think Shirley thought, well, I've seen it all, I've heard it all, this is fine, we're just going to talk, we'll plug the movie, we'll do whatever we're going to do. And he mentioned this scene in The Evening Star, I think that was the picture, where she plays Aurora Greenaway, and she goes up to the attic, I think at one point, or the bedroom, and she starts going through all these papers, and Shirley's trying not to look bored, because she doesn't know where Brian's going, and she said, and he says, and it reminded me after your mother died, how you went up to her bedroom, and her face, to see the look on her face, because she's basically replayed a scene from her real life and didn't know it until he connected the dots for her. That's what the brilliance was for me, is that he was able to connect the dots for people who knew they had worked with that director and did that play, and now they were working in this film and they were doing that, but they saw no link between the fact that they seemed to be very drawn to certain things, and this had also been reflected in their personal life and in their choices of mates, and it was where he got the reputation for being the most reasonable but the most profound psychiatrist in town, because if you get on his couch, you were going to learn something about yourself, and usually something that was going to be rewarding. It wasn't going to be too tough. I remember him having a conversation with Rod Steiger, and he had done interviews with Steiger before, and he said, in a very sort of Brian way, where he's laying out all the information first, and he said to Steiger, so you went out, I seem to recall a time when you rented a boat and went out in a boat and took a gun with you and were planning to put it in your mouth. And I thought, what a waste and how selfish. And Rod Steiger just looked at him and then said, well, it's not something I'm ashamed of, but it's not something I'm proud of, and then talked about the suicide he almost committed. And that's, I don't think, before we talked about 60 Minutes. I think if 60 Minutes said, and Rod, we want to do this suicide attempt, he would have said, I'm out of here. I'm here to plug a movie, and I'm here to, or my new stage play or whatever, and you guys are here to use my name to get ratings, and it's all very copacetic. But we're not going there. But Brian could take them there, and they felt they were in a safe place. He could create a safe climate for that. And so you learned a lot, and they gave a lot.
He could be difficult.
It could be very difficult. It could be very difficult. And he was, that's where the insecurity would come out, and he could be very difficult when he was in situations. He had a great lack of ability to seeing another point of view. He saw his point of view very clearly, very strongly, and had a great deal of trouble seeing anyone else's. So he wasn't able to adjust easily to new situations. He knew what he knew what he wanted to do, and he said, but Brian, it's not a half hour. So your first question, it's not going to play. And he knew that too. He came to that quite he couldn't change. He didn't want to change. He chose not to change. But classic moment when we were together. We were in New York for The Color Purple. I think this is in the book. And I had finished my interviews. I was doing print interviews, round table stuff, and I was on my way to the airport. And Brian had been told that his Steven Spielberg interview had gone from, I think, 15 minutes to 12 minutes to 10 minutes. Now it was down to 5 minutes. So Brian said, I understand. I know you're backed up. Don't worry about it. And he left, and he saw me in the lobby. He said, I'll go to the airport with you. So we get to the Admirals Club, and the phone rings. It's Rob Friedman from Warner Brothers. He was the head of worldwide publicity, and he said, I've got Steven on the line for Brian. So Steven gets on the line. He says, Brian, come back. I want to do the interview with you. I know it's only 5 minutes, but it'll be the best 5 minutes of the whole day. Please come back. And Brian said, Steven, it's so nice of you to call. My first question is 5 minutes.
The book is starring Brian Linehan. It's by George Anthony, forward by Joan Rivers, who was not just a friend, but the real deal.
The real deal.
And starring Brian Linehan is published by Macalland and Stewart.